Hi guys, my name is Courtney. Welcome to my channel, my first official video. I am so excited to get into this. I've been wanting to make music videos. I've been wanting to make music videos forever. No. I've been wanting to make makeup tutorials for as long as I can remember. It is the best. I love makeup. I love digging into it. I love trying different looks. Everything about it. It's great. Today I'm going to be showing you my kind of everyday go-to look that I do if I am just going to work or out for a night, but I need something that is just like without thinking, this is just what I do. So that's what we're going to be doing. So if you want to take your look from this to this, then just keep watching. Okay, first up, I'm going in with these two foundations. I'm going to be mixing them. It's the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow foundation in shade number 202, along with the Pro Matte Infallible at 103. They are amazing and they're pretty cheap for foundation. So I get these at the drugstore. They're the best. They're super long wearing. They don't cake. They don't smudge around. They just kind of like sink into my skin, and I really love that about these. So I usually just take it on a brush. This is the Morphe JH03 brush. I usually use a brush over a beauty sponge just because for some reason I just feel like a beauty sponge soaks up a lot of product. I'll use it occasionally if I want like a really lightweight finish, but for the most part I'm all about a brush. So I'll go in and like dot it all over my face and then just smudge it all over. And I know a lot of people don't like using brushes for their foundation because they think that it leaves streaks, but I find that with this foundation it does not, and honestly you just have to blend it. I feel like if it's leaving streaks it's because they didn't like buff it out enough, but I personally love it. I hardly want to do anything else. Another brush I really like to use for my foundation is this one by Pure, and it's shaped like this. I'm sure you guys have seen these on like Instagram videos or something, but this is also another really good one. It's a little bit more expensive than the Morphe one, but both amazing. Another thing to always check is around your nose. Sometimes people have foundation lines around their nose and around their chins, so just make sure you kind of like shove the foundation up your nose a little bit, you know? Blend it into your mouth and go down your neck. And I always like buff a tiny bit onto my ear just to make sure there's no lines anywhere. Okay, up next, I'm taking a tiny bit of concealer underneath my eyes just to like brighten it up a little bit. I don't need too much. I'm gonna be going in with the Morphe concealer. So I usually go a little bit below my eye too, because I find when I put all the product right underneath right under my eyes, it tends to like just get super cakey. So I will go kind of further down, like here, and I'll just bloop, put a little bit. And on my cheekbone as well to kind of start that highlight, you know? And honestly, I'm gonna go in with my fingers. So you can judge if you want, but I just washed my hands, so I'm just gonna smudge it around. I feel like a lot of times the warmth from my fingertips helps it spread really well, and I can also tell how much pressure exactly I'm putting down. I also love this concealer. It's really hydrating and it doesn't leave me cakey. I used to use the Tarte Shape Tape until I realized how dang cakey I looked with it on. Okay, so I'm taking that same brush I used my foundation on, and I'm gonna go over my concealer just to make sure everything is nice and blended, nothing's too packed on, and kind of buff out the edges. I'll be going in with this Hourglass translucent powder. It's their Veil powder. I just dot right into there. Make sure that there's not tons of powder. I usually will bounce the brush on top of my hand like that, so that way instead of just letting it fluff into the air everywhere, it settles more into the brush so that the powder goes a longer way. And I'll just buff it into my skin. And this lightly sets everything and preps it for bronzer and highlighter and blush. For bronzer and slight contour, I'm going to be going in with the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I'm obsessed with this palette. It is just amazing. I'm going to go in with this shade right here in the middle and I'm gonna be taking my Morphe JH02 brush for my bronzer, and I'm gonna buff it right underneath my cheekbone, just to kind of carve out and make my cheekbone pop. And then I'll go ahead and do the same thing on my forehead, up in the corners, and just really buff everything out. I'm always wanting to make sure everything is nice and blended. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with a mix of this light shade and the darker one, and I'm gonna go right under on my chin and just blend it down my neck. I find when I do this, I get this chiseled jaw, you know? That's what we all want. Okay, next I'm gonna be going in with this Tarte blush. It's in the shade Fairy Flush. I'm gonna be taking my Morphe JH04 brush for the blush brush. And I'm just gonna dip into this. It's a very light blush. I don't like too much blush. I think it's crazy and kind of like 80s, 90s. So I take a very subtle blush usually, and I just pat it on my cheeks. And then I'm gonna be taking this Becca Chloe and Malika palette for my highlight. I love this palette so much. If you guys have seen the Jaclyn Hill palette for her highlights, it actually reminds me a lot of these. And these ones are actually made in Italy as well as Jaclyn Hill's. So I feel like they're made in the same factory because they're pressed basically the exact same way. So just my thought, but I love this. So I'm actually gonna be going in with this this darkest pink one and dipping into that just a little bit with that same blush brush. And I'm gonna hit the tops of my cheekbones and just brush it all over the place. And then I'm gonna be taking the very lightest shade and subtly on the corner of this, if you can see that, take it, and I'm gonna just hit the high points of my cheeks like that. And next, you can go in with really any eyeshadow palette. I'm gonna be using the Tati Beauty Volume 1 palette for today's eye look. Like I said, it's gonna be super simple because if I gotta go out the door, I'm just gonna be slapping on some stuff. So I'm gonna be going in with Aura, I think that's what it is. This matte light shade right here. Do you like my broken nail? I think I slammed it in the car door or something like that. But I'm gonna take that all over my eyelid with a flat brush. This one I actually got in a makeup class a long time ago when I was in hair school, so I don't know what it is, but any flat packed brush will work. Okay, and after that, I'm gonna go up to this slightly shimmer shade and dot that right on the inner corner like this and just barely smudge it out. So it's gonna be basically just blending into that matte shade, but it'll give it a little bit of a pop right in the center, like that. Okay, next I'm gonna be going in with the Morphe 441 brush, and I'm gonna take this shade right here. It's like a really warm, light brown, has some orange in it. I love warm colors for my blue eyes. I just feel like they really make it pop. So I'm going to start that on the outer corner and just swirl it around, getting as much pigment off out there as I can. Same on the other side. And then next, I'm just gonna build that out and blend it in. Wow, this is beautiful. And that's it for the top part of my eye. Next, I'm gonna be going in with the Morphe M455 brush with that same color. And this is kind of just like a pointed little brush. And I'm gonna go underneath my eyes, starting in the corner and releasing as much product as I can and bringing it in. I'm gonna be taking that same Becca Chloe and Malika palette, and I'm gonna go in with this lightest shade with a flat packed brush and go right on the top of my eyebrow. Honestly, on days where I'm rushing and just need to get out the door, I really don't do anything to my eyebrows other than this this eyebrow tint. This is by Benefit, and it's called 3D Brow Tones. And it's basically like a mascara for your brows. I love it because it's super fast. I have like a decent amount of brows. They're just really light because I have blonde hair. So I just will go over that and it'll help them show up a little bit, but it's nothing too crazy, but it's enough to help frame my face for the day. Something that's good about this too is it's kind of like a brow gel, so you can decide where you want your brows to sit. If you want them aiming like more up, you can, but I usually just slush them over here. Okay, you can go in with an eyeliner. I usually do if I have some time, but today I'm just gonna go in with a mascara, and I always use the Lash Sensational by Maybelline. It is amazing. Wow. I learned that stuff from my little brothers. They keep me cool. So I'm just gonna apply that to my eyelashes. I usually wiggle it up the lash to help them stay curled more. My dog is in here. Alright, and after that, I usually just throw on a very simple gloss. I got this in like an Ipsy box or something once. It's by Jewel Smith Beauty. It's just kind of a subtle pink. If I put too much on, it looks very pink. So I usually will just dab a little bit of it on my lips and rub it together. And there you have it. That's the look all completed. This is just such an easy go-to look that I feel like anybody can achieve. And yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you're notified of my next video. And yeah, I'll talk to you later.